So today we're talking about the best summer watches that I recommend and a couple of other watch-related questions as well, including metals, titanium versus ceramic, and a bunch of other stuff. Today's episode is sponsored by Caldera Labs. More on them later. And like I said, today's is a Q&A. I took a bunch of questions from the bottom of the comment section of some videos that you guys have been engaging in lately and, cherry-picked some that I thought were interesting, and now we're going to answer them. And we're going to open up with the relevant one as opposed to pushing it toward the end. We're going to open up with the best summer watches. Without being too long-winded, what makes the best summer watch? What makes a great summer watch? Of course, subjective, but for me, a level of durability. Obviously, in the summer, I'm thinking a lot more leisure. I'm thinking a lot more exposure to water. I'm thinking a lot of hanging out, a lot of partying more than the winter and fall months. That's my opinion. It's certainly what I do, right? When I'm out at the beach and I'm exposed to sand and I'm exposed to the water and you're at a bar or whatever, it's a lot more fun and jovial. So resilience, certainly, water resistance, but just general durability, right? As opposed to like a vintage Patek Philippe Calatrava or a modern Patek Philippe Calatrava for that matter, as opposed to a JLC on an alligator strap Reverso, right? These are not what I would consider great summer watches. Of course, I wear them in the summer, but they're not great summer watches. I'm going to err on the durable side. I'm also going to go with color. Again, it's becoming more and more popular with different brands, but I'm a really big advocate for color. Baltic just released a full colorful collection, but there are so many brands that do it really well. Breitling, Panerai, Doxa, Zodiac. I think these are four really good examples. There are so many examples, of course. The Rolex, Yachtmaster and Titanium is a great example. There's so many different examples, but the four that I just listed, I think, are great for a couple of reasons. Of course, they satisfy the requirements, right? I also think they represent pretty darn good value. I think that Panerai, specifically on the secondary market, represents really great value, particularly if you can, find one that got the details right. Panerai's made so many SKUs, and not all of them get all the details right? But when it gets right, it's perfect. My dad's got a beautiful Luminor at 40 millimeters with a blue slate dial and a Cyclops date that I think is fabulous. I actually just talked about this watch long form and kind of how to buy Panerai on the most recent episode of The Zero, which is our private podcast community. The link is down below. Go take a look. 7-day free trial. Go watch or go listen on that podcast because the Panerai buying guide, I think, is really interesting. So I think Panerai is a really great example. Doxa is a fabulous example. This is a brand that, really is at the, while maybe not the most famous or far from it, really like historically important with diving, right? Doxa and their Aqualung with Jacques Cousteau. This is a watch that, didn't have the marketing budget of a Breitling or a Panerai, of course, but they're just such a legitimate manufacturer of deep divers that are durable and have unique original design, which I think is really, really big. I think they're fabulous pieces. They come in a wide variety of colors and pricing is really fair. I think that Breitling does a great job. I'm old enough to remember when Breitling's catalog wasn't that great. And in the last 8 years, they've just really added more, done away with a lot of crap and added more and more just high quality design and construction for that matter. They do a great job. So I'll recommend their Super Ocean Heritage. I think these watches are really fabulous. Some of the bezels are great. The bracelets are great. They're vintage, they're retro, but they're modern in their build quality and in their shimmer. Right? I love that. You can kick the hell out of these watches and they will last you a lifetime, certainly. And again, pricing new, good. Pre-owned, even better, of course, but I can definitely stand behind the Super Ocean for sure, particularly in blue. For ladies, they make them in white. They just do so much in this collection. Today's episode is sponsored by our friends over at Caldera Labs because I think that we all, gentlemen, could use a little bit of self-love via skincare. Everyone's going to look at it all day, so we might as well look our best. Because the truth is, it's inevitable, particularly once you hit your 30s like I am, your skin does begin to dry out, you get wrinkles, and there's nothing wrong with aging. God knows, you want to age gracefully and well. You just don't want to look neglected, you don't want to look dry, and you don't want to look unkept. And the truth is, to achieve that end, to look attractive, you do need to use more than a little bit of soap and water. Now, that being said, you also don't want to have a very complicated system that may be more, something that generally speaking, women are more open to. I'm not open to it. I want something simple, something effective, and something just clean and effective. And that's Caldera. I've been using it now for 6 weeks or a month, and I've just had a fabulous experience. Absolutely no breaking out, which is really the big thing for me. And their hero product, which is a serum with over 3.4 million antioxidant units per drop, which is an absurd number. I don't even know how that number is so high. But it's clinically proven to reduce signs of aging and leave your skin looking healthier and smoother and even toned. And that's one of the parts that I really like, obviously, with my, bronze, olive oil skin and charm. It's a Godfather reference. And also their Clean Slate Cleanser. It's simple, it's gentle, it's a no BS cleaner that just doesn't dry your skin out. And likewise, their eye serum does an amazing job. It's lightweight, it's effective, it reduces puffiness and it reduces wrinkles. It's really an amazing quality product. And that's not just me saying it. I mean, it's the regimen is clinically proven. So head on over to Caldera Labs and use the code Theo and Harris for 20% off of your first order and join the droves of people who have been using Caldera and reporting just fabulous success and looking younger, feeling better, and more hydrated. Head on over to Caldera Labs. I'm also going to say Zodiac Seawolf. We're going all the way down in pricing into the mid ones. You get them at 1,000, 1,000, 2,000. You get them on sale very often, even at retail on sale. You can get them on secondary market, of course. But these watches are great. There's such a wide variety of color. Build quality is really good. Sam is actually wearing a titanium version right over there on a great strap. Zodiac has just done such a great job delivering a historically important, well-designed, well-built Seawolf to the market over the last 5 or whatever years that I think it's a service to the community. I love micro brands. I love independence. The small guys are great. Original design is great. But I'm definitely a history guy, and I love the idea that this watch has been around since the early 1950s and has played an important part of watch history. So these are the sorts of watches that I think are great for the summertime. Again, there are a bunch of others, of course. There are JLC divers, and there's so many great watches, but those are the 4 that I wanted to go with today. But remember, no matter which watches you're, what brands you're considering, think color, think durability, and always think value. Next question. What is the most recent watch that I recommended? Here's a little grappa, by the way. The most recent watch I recommended was actually to a family friend for a buddy's graduation, high school graduation. And they wanted to spend under $1,000. And because I know the young man, I knew what his style was, which is so important, right? There are so many watches of great value, of great build quality and value for dollar that I could recommend. But that's not really the point. The point is you want to recommend something that the person is really going to enjoy. It doesn't just have to be good. It has to be right for the young man or young woman. I think that's really, really important, right? Someone's not going to gift me, I'm trying to think of a good example of a high-quality watch that I would hate. Someone's not going to gift me a De Botton, for instance. Sam and I were just talking about this brand. It's a great brand. I really, really like it. When the heck am I going to wear a De Botton? It's just never going to happen. Never going to happen. No matter how great it is. It doesn't take a thing away from the brand or the construction quality, the design at all. It's just clearly not who I am, right? And just like the same way I wouldn't gift Sam a little lady's Cartier. That's a great watch for me. I actually love those watches. You wear them like bracelets. They're super fun. It'd be ridiculous. He wouldn't wear it at all. It'd be ridiculous. It's a mismatch. And no matter how logical the argument could be for how great the watch is, if it's not their style, what are we doing? So I recommended the Baltic MR, I believe is his name, Mr. MR. I love these watches. I love the Arabic numerals. I love the texture on the dial. I love the case size, exposed case back, while the movements are not, the movements are simple, right? But there is something that is so just brilliant about, mechanical movements that I said to myself and I said to the parents that this is a kind of watch, and looking through not only just the design, but the case back, that will be the bedrock for an appreciation for mechanical watches over the next, he's 16, so the next 8 decades, right? This is in many ways a gateway drug into a larger world. And I told them that collectors, even of, real collectors with a ton of watches, they also, engage with and own Baltic. I'm not saying they wear them every day, of course, but they are great watches that basically are kind of unobjectionable. Everyone likes Baltic. They just do a great job. So that is actually the watch that I recommended most recently. This episode is not sponsored by Baltic. We don't even know each other, really. I talked to them one time like 3 years ago, and that's about it. Next. Titanium or ceramic? Now, this question is one of those gun to your head questions because everybody knows that I like precious metal watches. Me even being interested in stainless steel watches is rare. When I say interested, I don't mean like I'm disinterested in stainless steel watches. I'm wearing a Datejust right now. I just recommended Panerai. I just recommended, Breitlings and all these different brands, Zodiacs. So I'm not disinterested in stainless steel watches, but the watches that really wet my whistle, the watches that really get me excited are most often precious metal than alternative metals. That being said, if I'm asked which I was, which do I prefer, titanium or ceramic? It really depends on the watch, and that's the answer. It's totally watch design color dependent. I think that the direction of color in ceramic is just so much more interesting than in titanium. Of course, you have the weight element. You have the durability element with titanium, but I just like certain ceramic watches. A great example is the Zodiac Defy. I think that's probably the best example, barring Audemars Piguet, of course, with their open works or with their chronographs. But I just love blue ceramic, and LVMH, through Zodiac, just do such a great job with it. They're also bringing in that same blue ceramic into their Louis Vuitton watches as well, and other colors as well. I really prefer ceramic, particularly in a really interesting color, and almost exclusively in that bright blue. That watch spoke to me. I've considered buying them multiple times, and I just never have because I just don't really see myself wearing it all that often or often enough to justify the purchase. That's just true. But I really like the watches. Okay, so titanium is great. Again, De Botton is a fabulous watch. There are a million amazing Panerais in titanium. The Rolex Yachtmaster in titanium, I think, is perfect. I think it's a great watch. There are so many. Sam Zodiac Seawolf right there is titanium. So I'm not saying that ceramic is better than titanium. In fact, maybe the argument would go the other way if I was forced to actually make an objective argument. But my personal interest is in color, and ceramic just has it. Next question: what is my favorite watch in the Theo and Harris shop? And I will be honest that I planted this question. You guys didn't ask it. I am putting it in to promote my own business. And the truth is, it's a great opportunity to discuss vintage watches. And I'll take this second to talk about the Piaget protocol in the shop right now. This is one of the more approachably priced watches in the store, and yet I think that its real value and what it represents is significantly over what the market says it's worth. These watches are about $4,000 to $5,000, $4,000 to $6,000, depending on dial condition, these sorts of things. And I just think that the designs, the movements, these beautiful ultra-thin manually wound movements, the cases that have just been, carved in 18-karat bullion are amazing. The dials, everything about the design is so decisive, so Piaget from the 70s and 80s that, I mean, they're just kind of flawless. They're beautiful cocktail watches. They're more affordable and more interesting, truly, than so many Cartiers that are comparable. It's kind of not even close. Piaget just does such a great job. Of course, there are a bunch of watches in the store that I think are great. The Patek with the, uncut yellow gold bracelet is like perfect. We just sold an Omega Souverain that's amazing. There are a lot of great watches in the Theo and Harris shop. We drop about 2 to 4 per week every week. So keep checking out the Theo and Harris shop and explore vintage watches. So that's it. You can even shoot us a text and schedule a call, and we will talk about vintage watches and answer your questions for you live time. So head on over to Theo and Harris. Next question, and now we're going into 2 kind of like bonus rounds that are unrelated to watches. Number 1, what is my favorite summer drink? Good question. I've really been drinking a lot of Campari spritzes. Campari soda is too much for me. The bitterness is just too overwhelming. But a Campari spritz, I think, is quite nice. The Prosecco really rounds out the bitterness, and I really like it. I've always done Aperol before, and I like it, but I don't like it nearly as much as the Campari spritz. I was drinking them for a whole week in Sardinia earlier this month, and I really love them. So Campari spritz. Really beautiful, a lot of ice, and I think you'll really love it. And then the second question was, what's my favorite meal in the summertime? Everyone knows, or many people know, I love to cook. Cooking is probably my only actual hobby. I like watches. It's a consumer hobby, but it's not really an active thing to do. But cooking is, and it's absolutely my favorite way to relax and chill out and just kind of enjoy life and be at peace. And my favorite probably meal to cook in the summertime is, it's definitely fish. It's probably a beautiful branzino on a charcoal grill or on a plancha, which is a flat top. It's just great, right? Stuffed with beautiful herbs like rosemary and citrus, lemon. Serve that with a great white wine from France or probably from Italy, even probably more likely from Italy, like a Vermentino. And it's just, there's something so human about enjoying the process of like watching what fire does to things. We used to do it as little boys with marshmallows, and you used to do it with sticks and leaves. And I just think that's so, I don't think it's so unobjectionable. It's so boiled into who we are as human beings that we just love to watch what fire does to things. And then when you kind of grow up and you say, well, that never gets old, that watching sticks burn never gets old for some reason. But when you say, oh wait, there's a practical value to this, and I get to like see how different fish have different fat levels and how everything changes, and it's like this ever-evolving educational experience. I am not a chef. I don't aspire to ever be a truly great cook or anything like that. Zero actual aspiration on any real way. But it's 100% like the only thing that I really enjoy to do after work. It's like my favorite. I used to only like bullshitting, and I still like bullshitting, but I used to only like bullshitting, and now I think I actually prefer just shutting the fuck up and having no one around me and just cooking. And for people that enjoy it, and if you don't, then you're not invited, because I don't. Sam is like the best guy to cook for. He's literally the best, because we just have a great time. We drink great wine. Everything is reciprocal, and he says thank you, as opposed to other people that are like, oh, it's fishy. It's like, it's fish. It's fucking fish. Like, hey, what kind of lamb? Shut up, lamb. I love lamb. Anyway, that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. And if you like it, go ahead and like this video. Comment down below if you have any thoughts on summer watches or cooking or a great white wine that you recommend for everybody. And love you guys. Love this community. Head on over to the Theo and Harris Watch Shop and explore. You don't got to buy anything, but just explore. It's fun stuff. Vintage watches are cool.
Watches, particularly vintage watches, represent this intersection of history, of design, of engineering. Theo and Harris is a family business. It always has been. And that's because we, my family, all share a passion for this remarkable intersection. For nearly a decade now, we have scoured the world from Oklahoma to Tokyo for some of the most interesting watches by some of the world's most revered manufacturers to share with our community. We handpick our collection. We look for quality and we look for taste. We choose watches that, for one reason or another, speak to us. We authenticate them, we service them so they're ready for decades of memories to come, and then we share them here with you. We support our clients. We believe in expedited and fully insured shipping so they never have to wait. We believe in stress-free returns in the off chance they change their mind. We believe in building relationships that last. Theo and Harris is a family business. And we haven't just built a shop, we've built a community. So whether you're considering adding a vintage watch to your collection, a handmade strap to your life, or if you're just looking to talk watches, we're grateful that you've chosen us.